Canty, a young, skillful hairstylist, ran the popular beauty parlor called Oxford Beauty Shrine. His hands were magic, transforming the appearances of every customer who stepped through the door. However, Canty's heart had always remained guarded, despite his charm and the attention from numerous women. That was until the day Vera walked into his parlor. Vera, stunningly beautiful, came with her mother for their usual hair appointment. As soon as Canty laid eyes on her, something inside him stirred. Her elegance, the way she carried herself, and her radiant smile struck him deeply. For the first time in a long while, Canty found himself nervous, his thoughts consumed by a singular desire to know Vera. He had an opportunity that day to make small talk, perhaps ask for her number. But he hesitated, fearing he might come off too strong. He let her and her mother leave, but regret immediately filled him. He couldn't shake the thought of her from his mind. 2 weeks later, fortune seemed to smile on him again. Vera and her mother returned to Oxford Beauty Shrine, but this time it was late in the evening. The timing felt right, but as their appointment ended, Canty realized the window of opportunity was slipping away again. In a bold, reckless move, he quietly snuck out and deflated one of the tires of their car. His plan was desperate but simple: to offer a ride home and finally secure a chance to talk to Vera alone. The plan, though underhanded, worked. With their car stranded, Canty gallantly offered to drive them home. As they sat together in the car, he skillfully made small talk and eventually got what he had been craving: Vera's phone number. Their conversations after that blossomed into something deeper, and Canty soon became a close family friend. He showered her with gifts, showing a level of care and attention that she hadn't experienced before. But not everything was smooth. Vera's father, Chief Jeremiah Cam's son, had other plans for his beloved daughter. He had arranged for her to marry Boyo Sisi, the son of his longtime friend and a powerful police boss. Boyo, though arrogant, had an undeniable charm and a taste for fine fashion that impressed many. He was set on Vera, seeing her not only as a prize but as a way to further the ties between their influential families. Boyo quickly noticed the growing closeness between Canty and Vera, and it infuriated him. Though Canty was humble, hard-working, and talented, Boyo viewed him as nothing more than a mere hairstylist, a man far beneath him in status. Determined to humiliate Canty, Boyo schemed for ways to catch them in compromising situations. One day, Boyo saw Canty and Vera together in a cozy restaurant, laughing and enjoying each other's company. Fueled by jealousy, Boyo devised a cruel plan. He paid for the entire restaurant to ensure that he and his entourage would be the only ones left inside. Canty and Vera, realizing what was happening, felt embarrassed but stood their ground. The incident only deepened their bond, as they found solace in each other's company amidst the humiliation. However, the love between Canty and Vera soon became the talk of the town. The entire city knew of their connection, which brought embarrassment to Honorable Takum Sisi, Boyo's father. It was one thing for his son to be rejected, but to be outdone by a hairstylist? That was intolerable. Honorable Sisi, with his influence and power, began plotting a way to rid his family of this disgrace. He devised a sinister plan to frame Canty and send him to jail, clearing the path for Boyo to win Vera's hand. Canty, blissfully unaware of the looming danger, continued to nurture his love for Vera, even as the walls of treachery began to close in on him. The question now was, How far would the Cece family go to remove Canty from the picture, and how would Canty fight against the forces conspiring to destroy him? Canty and Vera's love had deepened beyond anything either of them had imagined. They had found in each other something pure and sincere, a love that could transcend the social barriers and expectations of their families. However, the storm clouds loomed heavily over their romance, as both of their families were bent on tearing them apart. Chief Jeremiah Cam's son, Vera's father, grew increasingly frustrated with the situation. His dream was for Vera to marry Boyo Cece, a union that would secure powerful family ties with Honorable Takam Cece, a man of immense influence. Chief Cam's son had already promised Vera's hand in marriage to Boyo, and it seemed as though all the pieces were falling into place for the family alliance, except for one, Canty. His daughter was head over heels for this humble hairstylist, and there seemed to be no way to break her bond with him. Vera, on her part, was firm in her decision. Her heart belonged to Canty, and she couldn't imagine being with anyone else, not even Boyo, whose arrogance and sense of entitlement disgusted her. She knew the kind of power her father and Honorable Cece wielded, but she refused to be trapped in a loveless marriage. As the pressure from both families mounted, Canty knew that something had to give. He could feel the weight of their expectations bearing down on Vera, and so he made a radical decision: they would elope. Canty shared his plan with Vera one evening while fixing her hair in his salon. The conversation was intimate, whispered in low tones as they tried to avoid unwanted attention. Little did they know, an elderly woman sitting next to them, getting her nails done, was eavesdropping. She seemed harmless enough, but unbeknownst to them, she was the wife of an aide to Honorable Takam Cece. As soon as she left the salon, she wasted no time relaying every detail of their conversation to her husband. The information quickly made its way to Honorable Cece, who immediately saw an opportunity to strike. He approached Chief Jeremiah Cam's son, and together they devised a ruthless plan to destroy Canty once and for all. They knew Canty was expecting a shipment of foreign hair products for his salon, a consignment he had been eagerly awaiting for weeks. Honorable Cece, with his vast network of connections, orchestrated a scheme to have hard drugs planted inside the package before it was delivered to Canty's shop. The trap was set. On a bright, sunny afternoon, Canty was in his salon, enjoying a rare, quiet day. With only a few clients to attend to, he was relaxed, oblivious to the storm that was about to hit. The door to his salon swung open, and armed men, dressed in civilian clothes but clearly exuding authority, entered the room. At the same moment, a courier arrived with a much-anticipated consignment of hair products. Canty's heart raced, but not from fear. He thought the men were potential clients or officials coming for a routine check. However, that illusion was shattered when the package was abruptly snatched from the courier's hands by one of the armed men. They tore it open right in the middle of the salon, revealing the hard drugs that had been carefully hidden inside. Canty stood frozen, his mind struggling to comprehend what was happening. The police officers arrested him on the spot. Though he tried to explain that he had no idea about the drugs, his words fell on deaf ears. The officers were under strict orders, and there was no chance of him escaping their grip. Canty was thrown into the back of their van, handcuffed, and driven away. With Honorable Cece's influence and power as a high-ranking police officer, the investigation was fast-tracked. Canty was denied any chance of immediate bail, and before he knew it, he was languishing in a prison cell, awaiting trial on charges that could destroy his life. Vera, upon hearing the news of Canty's arrest, was devastated. She knew in her heart that this was a setup, a cruel ploy to keep them apart. But the power her father and Honorable Cece held seemed insurmountable. Still, her love for Canty remained unwavering, and she was determined to fight for him, no matter what it took. As Canty languished in his prison cell, wondering if he would ever see the outside world again, Vera began to hatch a plan of her own, a plan to clear his name and free him from the clutches of the powerful men who wanted to tear them apart. But the road ahead was filled with danger, and the stakes were higher than they had ever been before. The question now was, could love truly conquer the forces of greed, corruption, and betrayal? Or would Canty and Vera's story end in tragedy? Canty's life had taken a devastating turn. After being falsely charged with dealing hard drugs, he found himself pleading not guilty in a court that seemed indifferent to his fate. His claim of innocence was met with skepticism, and before long he was confined to a cold, dark custodial facility, where the walls seemed to echo with the laughter and happiness of a life that was now out of reach. With Canty out of the picture, Chief Jeremiah Cam's son and Honorable Takam Cece seized the opportunity to move forward with their original plan. They applied relentless pressure on Vera to marry Boyo Cece, the arrogant son of Honorable Cece. Both families concealed the truth about their sinister plot to frame Canty, presenting a carefully crafted narrative to the world. They painted Canty as a common criminal, a man involved in drug trafficking, who had deceived everyone, including Vera. This web of lies began to take its toll on Vera. Vera's once unshakable trust in Canty started to waver. Though deep inside she still believed in his innocence, the overwhelming pressure from her family and the constant barrage of negative stories about him made her question everything. Her father, Chief Cam's son, was relentless, reminding her of how Canty had betrayed them and how Boyo, with his wealth, influence, and affection, was a much better match. Boyo Cece, sensing an opportunity, began to intensify his pursuit of Vera. His charm, lavish gifts, and the constant love and attention he showered upon her slowly began to sway her. Though she had once found him insufferable, his persistence and her family's approval started to change her feelings. Vera began to give Boyo audience, letting her guard down bit by bit. Still, somewhere in the depths of her heart, Vera could not entirely let go of Canty. She remembered the warmth in his eyes, the sincerity in his voice when he spoke to her, and the love they had shared. But the world around her was becoming increasingly loud with the stories of Canty's supposed crimes. The family had constructed such a strong image of Canty as a drug dealer that it was hard for Vera to fight it. Though she wanted to believe in his innocence, her trust was slowly eroding. While Boyo's family showered her with attention and love, Honorable Cece was not content to leave things to chance. Fearing that Canty might still somehow make a comeback, he ordered his men to plant even more hard drugs in Canty's salon. His plan was to ensure that, even if there were doubts, the discovery of additional drugs would make Canty's guilt appear unquestionable. A second raid was conducted, and this time a larger quantity of drugs was found in Canty's shop. The evidence against him seemed insurmountable. Meanwhile, Boyo decided to take a bold step to solidify his position in Vera's life. At a grand, extravagant party that brought together their families and friends, Boyo proposed to Vera in front of everyone. Overwhelmed by the moment and under immense pressure, Vera accepted his proposal. Applause filled the air as wedding plans immediately began. The families celebrated as though the union would be the perfect alliance of power and prestige. As Vera's wedding plans unfolded, Canty's world inside the prison was vastly different. Though trapped behind bars, he found solace in a workshop, where he could use his skills to make a difference. His talent as a hairstylist did not go unnoticed, and soon he became well-liked by both fellow inmates and staff members. His calm, upright nature, his handsome appearance, and the tragic story that had led him to prison made him a sympathetic figure to many. Canty refused to let despair take over. Even in the face of overwhelming injustice, he held on to the hope that one day the truth would come to light. He worked tirelessly in the prison's workshop, not just as a way to pass the time, but as a way to keep himself grounded and sane. His quiet strength earned him respect, but the pain of knowing Vera's love was slipping away haunted him day and night. As the wedding preparations between Vera and Boyo intensified, Canty's spirit remained unbroken. He knew deep down that Vera still believed in him, even if that belief had been buried beneath layers of doubt and manipulation. But time was running out. If something wasn't done soon, Vera would be lost to him forever. Would Vera finally uncover the truth about the dark forces conspiring against Canty? And would Canty, the man who had lost everything, find a way to regain his freedom and reclaim the love that was slipping away from him? The answers lay ahead, in a future where the lines between love, betrayal, and justice would blur, and where the battle for Vera's heart would reach its dramatic climax.